In this lesson, you will learn about multiple regression. There are many times in business research when you want to predict a criterion, y. But you want to find out if you can develop a better prediction model by using several predictors in combination. Such as 3 predictors like x1, x2, and x3. Instead of a single predictor, x. In this case, we will need to use multiple regression. The multiple regression equation follows a similar format and is as follow: y equal to a plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2 plus b3 x3 plus so on, where y is the criterion and xn is the predictors. This is depending on the number of predictors used. In order to do multiple regression in Excel, you need to have installed the Data Analysis Took pack that was described in Lesson 4. If you did not install this, you need to do so now. Let's try a practice example. Suppose that you have been hired by a car rental company to see if you could predict annual sales based on the number of cars that a rental car company has in its fleet, and the number of locations where you can rent that company's cars in the country. Let's use the following notation: y equals annual sales, in millions of ringgit. x1 equals number of cars in the fleet, in thousands of cars. x2 equals number of locations in the country. Suppose, further, that this rental car company supplied you with the following hypothetical data summarizing its performance along with the performance of its competitors. Create an Excel spreadsheet for these data using the following cell reference. In cell A3, key in car rental companies. In cell A5, key in Y. In A6, key in sales, RM millions. In cell B5, key in X1. In cell B6, key in no. Of cars, 000. In cell C5, key in X2. In cell C6, key in no. Of locations. Next, change the column width to match the above table, and change all figures to number format, 0 decimal places. Now, fill in the additional data in the chart such that in cell A7, we key in 1070, in cell B7, we key in 120, in cell C7, key in 152. We continue to complete them, all the way for cell A21 to C21. Let's try it ourselves. The task here is to find the multiple correlation and multiple regression equation using Excel. We are now open the worksheet for this task. Click on Data on the top menu. Click on Data Analysis, which is located far at the right top of screen. Then scroll down to choose Regression. Click on OK. Then for Input Y range, you drag the range from cell A6 to cell A21. Then for Input X range, you drag the range from cell B6 to cell C21. Click on the Labels box to add a check mark to it, because you have included the column labels in row 6. For Output range, click on the button to its left, and enter 825. Then click on OK, and you will see the resulting summary output. Note that both the Input Y range and the Input X range above both include the label at the top of the columns. Once you have the summary output, you can determine the multiple correlation in the regression equation. That is the best fit line through the data points using number of cars, 000, and number of locations as the 2 predictors, and sales, $millions, as the criterion. Note on the summary output where it says, multiple R. This term is correct since this is the term Excel uses for the multiple correlation, which is positive 0.93. This means that from these data, that the combination of number of cars and number of locations together form a very strong positive relationship in predicting annual sales. To find the regression equation, notice the coefficients at the bottom of the summary output. Intercept, A, this is the y-intercept, and the number is 53.55. For number of cars, 000, B1 is 9.09. For number of locations, B2 is 0.17. Since the general form of the multiple regression equation is y equals a plus b1 by 1 plus b2 by 2, we can now write the multiple regression equation for these data. y equals 53.55 plus 9.09 x1 plus 0.17 x2. This is the end of this lesson, multiple regression analysis. I hope you enjoy it. See you next time.